Okay, we will start with the session. So, very good morning, everyone. So today's first session.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. So on behalf of Anasab Dange College of Pharmacy, I'd like to welcome a speaker of today's webinar, Mr. Sambhaji Jadhav, sir. Sir, thank you very much that you have given us a precious time. Okay. And welcome to Anasab Dange College of Pharmacy. So I request Momin ma'am to introduce the speaker of today's function. Please, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Sudha, sir. It's my pleasure to introduce our today's chief guest, Mr. Sambhaji Jadhav, sir. Currently, he is working as Assistant Manager, Manufacturing Services at Sardia Pharmaceutical India Private Limited, Mumbai. He has a total 12 years of experience. He has been completed his diploma from Institute of Pharmacy, Miras in 2005 and B.Pharm from SSCOP Gurugram in 2010. From August 2010 to January 2012, Sir worked with MS Sandoz Private Limited Mumbai as a production executive. Currently, he is working as Assistant Manager, Manufacturing Services at Sardia Pharmaceuticals Private Limited, Mumbai, India, since 2012. He is a member of IDPT and have coordination with Paris-based head offices. Next. He successfully handled dispensing, granulation, compression, encapsulation, film coating, packing operations, successfully completed a responsibility as a molecular owner of a topmost product of Sandoz Private Limited along with global sites. He worked on different projects like yield improvement, cost saving, DMR, throughput time. He faced different audits of US FDA, TGA, MHRA, WHO, EU, PICS. He performed GMP or GDP audits at CMO, input material vendors. Talking about his achievements, he has successfully completed technology transfer of more than 25 products individually within 3 years. He successfully represented Sardia India quality 3 times in a Paris quality meet. He has been selected as a best performer among 7 countries of Sardia operations. So with this brief introduction, I would like to request our today's chief guest, Mr. Sambhaji Jadhav, sir. Please continue his session and address our students. Please, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for this warm introduction, which is a great thing for me. And good morning, all of you. Hope all are safe and all are at your home, which is today's requirement. So, shall we start with the presentation?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I will share my screen. Just give me 2 seconds.
So in between, I request few of the students to please close their videos. Samruddhi Patil.
Okay, now everyone can see this screen.
Yes, yes.
Hello. Right now I did this slideshow, so I cannot see all chats and all. So one of the teacher can start their mic and we can help each other.
Yes, sir, visible all the slides.
Okay, thank you. So today, thank you very much for inviting me with this great occasion to get a positive input of this situation, pandemic situation. And I'm going to brief you little bit about pharmaceutical operation, particularly in OSD plants. OSD is a oral solid dosage form, and this is just so we can cover students from first year to final year as just a basic skeleton. From this skeleton, we can understand uh, what are the basic departments in pharmaceutical company, how it works. If we wanted to came with one new drug, then is it that much simple, which we are now getting every day on news that for COVID we are successful, we got a drug, and within a 1 month or 2 months it is possible to get a new vaccine or drug. So really we need to little bit knowledge about these things, then only we are the best pharmacist. And as a pharmacist, we are proud to get a chance the world's population with respect to this health profession. Uh, First of all, for all the students, I wanted to know that is there any industrial tour they done or not? Because most of the students are in final year or third year, they can be visited this pharmaceutical industry. They must have a little bit insight about this operations. Today, they will get little bit value addition with their previous knowledge. And also for all academicians also, they know very well, most of them are work for research and development, or before academics they are work with pharmaceutical industry, so they know very well about this department. But normally we know there are very few departments which are related to non-technical person other than pharma guys. So general departments in pharmaceutical. This is the skeleton of any pharmaceutical industry. Particularly in our India, we have two pharmaceutical. Sorry, someone. Okay, please mute your mics. It's a little bit disturbing. In India, basically, there are two types of pharmaceutical plants. One is bulk industry and second is formulation. What is bulk industry? Bulk industry is a API pharmaceutical company, the active pharmaceutical reagents, or which we can say drug, direct drug without any dosage form. And second is formulation industry. In formulation industry, in our general term, we can say we manufacture or we formulate dosage form, that is tablet, capsules, ointments, sterile, injectable, and all these things. So we are going to take forward pharmaceutical industry with formulation plant. In that formulation plant, we have mostly two types of industry. One is sterile, which is injectable, vaccines, serums, and all. And second is for OSD. OSD is, as I said, oral solid dosage form. It comes with different types of tablets, capsules, and then pellets. Then nowadays we are coming with some dosage form with system software, CardioSkin and all that. These come under OSD plant. So if we consider any of the pharmaceutical industry, then we must know how many departments are there as a skeleton, basic departments, and it starts from HR and admin department. Most of the MNCs have HR separate department and admin is separate department. HR related to human resources, related to recruitment of people, recruitment of technical staff as well as non-technical staff, providing their facilities and all. And admin works when, as a company decides some policy, then administration have work to implement these policies. So these are the side profession, HR and admin. And many of the Indian companies, small groups, they have this department. Admin and HR is common department. Okay. Then we come to technical departments. Basically, in technical department, there are you can see R&D, F&D, ADL, PD. You must know R&D. R&D is a research and development. Second, F&D. You may know or may not know. F&D is a formulation and development. ADL is a analytical method development, and PD is a packaging development. These all are developmental departments. Any drugs comes in market, but their process starts from these research departments. One by one, we can see these departments and their little bit insight later on. Then we come to TTG. TTG is a technology transfer group. Once any drug we get successfully in the research or formulation and development, we get method development and all these things, then we wanted to transfer the drug to lab scale to big scale, commercial scale. For that purpose, we work as a department, technology transfer. We need to transfer it. It's a little bit, in our general terminology, we can say this is a bridging department. We bridge research development to commercial scale. Okay, then we come to SCM. SCM is a supply chain management. Normally in our industry, for SCM, they never take this long form of supply chain management. Everybody's tip of tongue they can call SCM. In SCM, there is also fragments, many fragments, but mostly there is one purchase department for purchase of all raw material, packaging materials, instruments, equipment, all these things. Then one distribution team is working for that. One planning team is working for that. Planning to purchase, planning to production, planning to distribute. All these things are under SCM. Then hardcore department. Main heart of the pharmaceutical industry is a production. In that production, particularly all the manufacturing dosage forms, they have their little bit different setup according to their dosage form. For example, for sterile, they have different setup. For capsule, they have a little bit different setup. For tablets, they have different setups. And we'll go inside with production and warehouse. Warehouse is related to production. To check all these quality, regulatory guidelines, compliance, then our local requirement, we work for major three departments. One is for quality, it's a clear-cut quality control department. We must know all these things. And quality assurance is a little bit of verification type of department. Quality control on the work and quality assurance assure the work. And then for compliance purpose, we have regulatory assurance, that is RA. These are the main technical departments where we can work and where pharmacists, we need pharmacists, B Pharm, M Pharm, D Pharm, everyone. Then little bit about non-technical for us. Absolutely, they are technical, but but in sense of pharmaceutical, these are two departments are the service supply department, which are IT, is the information technology and engineering. IT, what it does, you don't think that the IT, there are the IT softwares in many companies which are working with their from work from home or by system base. We need one department who can continuously give support in a plant or in a production facility or any of the supply chain, distribution team. They need a continuous supply of softwares, and that's why we need one department who can take their respective departments responsibility with continuous support of softwares. Mainly, you must heard this SAP system is there, ERP system is there, Noagen system is there, Shape system is there. All these are handled by IT team. And second is engineering. Every plant, is there any production facility, then there should be engineering department to support maintenance work, because there are huge equipments, instruments are there to give a proper support during troubleshoot or during smooth run of the operation. We need engineering department. In engineering department also, they have their own internal department like mechanical, electrical, and all these things. I don't wanted to give you this other departments information much more. Then one of the department where we are in high percentage as a pharmacist, sales and marketing. Although there are many other graduates, commerce graduates, bachelors, bachelor of arts person are working there based on their spoken skills, but still as a technical point of view, if you wanted to serve better for our company, then we need a technical guy who has completed their pharma. So in sales and marketing, there is huge, I can say, out of total number of employees in any industry, pharmaceutical industry, we need almost 50% guys for sales and marketing only. Then next department should be training. When we recruit any people, most of the freshers or experienced, they need to mold in our own system, in our own culture, as per our own standard operating procedure. They need a training. It's very simple. If we are working in a we are studying in a D Pharma. If you have completed diploma in pharmacy in another college, when we come or when we enter in our college for graduation, you must know what is system operating procedures, what are the cultures, what are the other rules and regulations. So for that purpose, we need a training department. It may not be for fresher, but for experienced person also. And ultimately, final department for every company, final aim is to make a profit along with social service. When there is profit or when there is company run, then there should be a finance and account department. So these are the main basic skeleton of pharmaceutical company. Any pharmaceutical, we can say any sterile company or OSD plant or any liquid plant. These are the basic skeleton available. This is not for India, but for outside also. Hope you have get little bit idea about this department. Now, I wanted to take you to one important slide. Nowadays, every day we get a news on newspaper, on media, on WhatsApp that we get we are successful, or X company, Y company, Z company successful in COVID-19 disease medicine, in the sense of vaccine or in the sense of drugs. But it is possible to get this within a month or 2 months? It's clearly no, because these are big chain. We need a proper time to get this medicine available to the patient. And what are the chronology? This is just an academic purpose. I have put it one side. This is the huge, big area. We need separate time, but this we will go little bit superficial chronology of this development of drug, particularly in India. What are the tasks? List of the tasks we need to go to know for development or to get a drug in a market up to the patient. When we work for research and development for many years, we need many years, but in such pandemic condition, all world is working on that particular research of that drug for COVID-19. Once we started this research, first of all, we have to take NOC from DCGI of India. DCGI is a Drug Controller General of India. That stating that we are working on this drug, and our motto, their literature search, and many basic documents they need. Based on that document, we get NOC from DCGI. Once we get the NOC from DCGI, we have to apply test license to our local FDA. Particularly, you mean local FDA in the sense it's at a district level. If you are in Sangli district, then you have to apply for a FDA office at Sangli. Then Sangli FDA verifies our NOC, which we get from DCGI, and approve us test license to any manufacture any drugs or any formulation for testing purpose only. And it's clearly written that it's not for human consumption, not for human trials. These are only for testing at lab. It's a in vitro study. Then once we get this test license, we have to manufacture feasibility batch manufacture. Whatever be our formula, we decided, we can say that the master formula. We take this trial of this master formula, 1 trial, 2 trial, 3 trial, whatever the required trial. And once we finalize this formula, we take a feasibility batch. we test this batch, but for testing purpose, again, we need a method. So we have to develop a method. Once we develop this method, we need to do method validation. Validation is big aspect which we need to study thoroughly later on. Then once we validate the method, we confirm that our formula, our methodology of testing methodology or specification are perfect for any targeted study. Once we confirm this, we have to take regulatory batches. These are the 3 regulatory batches with minimum batch size, which is a mandatory minimum batch size of 1 lakh units. It means, is there any tablet formulation? Then 1 lakh tablets. If capsule formulation is there, then 1 lakh capsules. Then we have, if we take these 3 regulatory batches, we have to show them these formula and the process is perfect, which is robust. That's why we have to perform process validation. In process validation, we have to assure that our process, our formulation, our specifications, our method, everything is robust, and we get reproducible results. Once we complete this process validation, we have to keep this formulation for stability study. In India, we have 2 zones of stability study. One is this is 1 zone, but we need 2 conditions to perform stability study. One is accelerated stability study. In accelerated stability study, conditions are 40 degrees Celsius temperature and 75% of relative humidity. We have to perform this accelerated study for mandatory, it's for 6 months. And second condition is, we say it's a real-time study. Real-time study, it means it is up to the shelf life, up to the expiry date of the product. And initially we get permission for 24 months of shelf life. And for this, we have 30 degrees Celsius temperature and 75 degree relative humidity conditions. At that time, we have to monitor all these parameters throughout the period in the stability chamber. Then for 0 months, for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, such time interval, we have to take out the sample, we have to analyze the sample, and we have to show that the sample is perfectly well with our specified specifications. Once we completed the stability, then we have to approach to regulatory authority for their bioequivalence BA/BE study. You must know BA/BE, or you may know in future, because I think in academic at final year you will get this information. Okay. In the meantime, when we approach for our regulatory permission to give a permission for bioequivalence study, we have to prepare IV/IVC study. It means in vitro in vivo dissolution study, correlation study. Then we have to prepare dossier. Dossier is also a main regulatory document where we have get all the information of drug from their API, their excipients involved in that formulation, up to the shelf life of the product, their efficacy, their safety, their adverse effect, and many more. Various permissions, licenses, and all these things. We can say this is the total kundli of that product. Once we prepare this dossier and we perform this BE study, on successful BE study, we get permission to go for clinical trials. For clinical trials, we have to take permission from FDA that we are using this batch for clinical trials. Once successful in getting this license from FDA, we start this clinical trial study. And after successful completion of these clinical trials, if we have perfect results with safety of the patient, we can prove the safety, then we get marketing authorization from DCGI. Once we get marketing authorization, again we have to approach for FDA for commercial license. Commercial license, it means for commercial, we can start batches from 1 lakh to this is the flexibility up to there are in industry there are 40 lakh, 50 lakh, 60 lakh based on the capacity of the equipments and plant. So once we get the commercial license, we are ready to launch this product. But again, if we change this basis from initial mandatory 1 lakh to other, then once again we have to perform process validation, then we have to keep the sample for stability study, and then only we get this opportunity to get this drug available at the patient. And this is the final stage. And for all these tasks, we at least need minimum of 1 year in this pandemic situation where we get all the approvals and all these studies in a very fast and roll. In normal, at least in normal condition, we get at least 5 years of timeline. One day first is of taking test license, and after 4 to 5 years, we get this license to launch the product in a market. So this is the total chronology of development to commercial launch, and it's not easy job, which we see this within a 12 points. There are many other points, but these are the micro points, and we can summarize these points under the heading. So this is the main thing of how to develop the drugs or drug formulation. Now, once we get the commercial approval, we start commercial activities. So now, one by one, we can go for department wise. What are the operations? What are the micro departments there available in pharma industry? I think I will take one small pause. Okay, thank you. We'll start with R&D, F&D, ADL, and PD. R&D is particularly in India. Mostly in India, we have very few companies who does this research and development, actual research and development. Mainly in India, we do formulation and development because of many things. There are commercial aspects, timelines, and all supports. So in R&D particularly, we work on new molecule. This is the NDA, new drug application, and all these things. Where it takes around 10 years, unlimited time. It's 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Scientists goes on working, repetitive research and all these things, and it takes time. So in India, this is a one part where we have still lacuna in work. But here we work, as I said, new molecule plus mechanism action, their uses, their safety data, their adverse reaction, their stability study, all are the part of research and development. In F&D, we work particularly on new dosage form. In R&D, you can say dosage form as well as mainly thing is drug, and in F&D, it's new dosage form. Plus, if we decide how to decide dosage form, is based on their excipient compatibility study, their required specifications, and market requirement, particularly by market survey. Once we decide the dosage form, we have to work on excipient compatibility study. It means if I wanted to develop a tablet, then with this tablet, you must know along with API, we need certain amount of excipient. So whether these excipients are compatible with API, we have to study. And for that reason, we do excipient compatibility study. Then we have to do this dissolution profiling as per our specification, whether it is matches or not, whether it gets the required concentration and all. Then we have to prove this dosage form is stable or not. So we have to keep, once again, we have to do this stability testing full with time zones, special time zones. It means for India, there is separate condition. For Europe, there is separate conditions. For US, there is separate market. For South Africa, there is separate market. And accordingly, where we have to export this or where we have to sell this product, based on that, we take these trials for stability. Then once we complete the stability, then again we have to, as I said earlier in last slide, we have to do BE study. It's a bioequivalence study. then clinical trials. These work came under FND. Then ADL. ADL is the analytical development department, where we do new method development. Once we finalize this new dosage form in FND, we have to develop a method suitable for that dosage form with consideration of API and excipients involved in that dosage form. Once we develop this method in ADL, we have to validate this method. For validation of method, this is also a big task. There is also micro requirements for validation. Once we complete this validation, we go for analytical method transfer. It means validation and all activities we do in development department. And once we complete development, then we have to transfer this method to plant level at commercial scale or as a trial basis, but at different labs, quality control labs. At that time, we have to transfer this method with certain criteria and show them that this method is perfectly fine. Then this ADL department also involved in regulatory compliance. There are in any work, there are many regulatory guidelines. They guide us how to work and what data we have to generate for development. So every department take care of their regulatory compliance. Then finally, packaging development, PD. In India, there are in very few companies have packaging development department. Small groups, they merge their packaging development in quality control, quality assurance activities. Some part in quality control, some part in quality assurance. But almost all the MNC, they have their own department, packaging development, where they develop primary packing, secondary packing, tertiary packing according to their dosage forms. So these are the developmental departments. Now we'll go for next department, technology transfer. What I mentioned in first slide, TTG. TTG is a technology transfer group. What do we do in technology transfer? Initially at development level, we work on lab scale batches. Lab scale, it means our molecule are very costly. Almost, if I take example of one of my molecule in existing company, we get almost these. We import these molecules from our parent company from France. We get almost 18 to 20 lakh per kg of API cost only. So we cannot waste this in kg or in 2 kg API. So we have to work on kilo lab where we can use API quantity in a gram and other excipients. So totally it's up to 1 kg batch. Max to max 1 kg, or we can try in 700 gram to 800 gram up to 1 kg. So we can save our money because we have to take multiple trials with initial stage. Then lab scale too, we transfer this once we get successful in lab scale, we transfer this technology to pilot scale. Pilot scale is also a kilo lab, but it is almost, if I start from 1 kg, then I will pilot it to 10 kg. This is the based on dosage form as well as equipment availability in that pilot lab. So this technology transfer group work align with this scientists to transfer this lab to pilot scale. Once we get successful in pilot lab scale, then we have to transfer this method formula to large scale or commercial scale. In commercial scale, almost if I start from 1 kg, I get pilot batch at 10 kg, then at almost commercial grade is 100 kg to 1000 kg. Maybe based on availability of equipment, this is up to 2-ton batch. Or requirement of market, as per market requirement, we count this batch in numbers. How many numbers of tablets available in a batch? How many numbers of capsules? So we commercialize this batch with the help of technology transfer group, who is working as a bridge between scientists to commercial pharmacists who work in commercial plant. And what are the points considered in technology transfer, particularly equipments, where at the granulation level, RMG, we call RMG is a rapid mixer granulator. Then FBD, fluid bed dryer, FBP, fluid bed processor, booster technology, blender capacity, compression machines, various film coating, sugar coating, coaters capacity, encapsulation machine, packaging machine. These are the points taken into consideration during technology transfer. Plus their capacity, their working principle, and product properties. These are the main thing. And finally, all these points are covered, then we have to take care of regulatory compliance, whether regulatory allows to work with these types of technology or not. We have to be abide with this regulatory compliance. This is the technology transfer working system. Then we see supply chain management. What is supply chain management? Particularly in general, management of goods and services, and it includes all support services to convert raw material, raw material to finished goods and keep them available in the market for sales. Whatever be the operation in pharmaceutical start to end, we have to take care with supply chain management system, with the help of supply chain management system, where they do planning, purchase, distribution, purchase of raw material, purchase of packing material, purchase of equipments, many instruments from QC lab, timely availability of all these materials, and distribution of goods which are ready from factory to their warehouses, warehouse to their CNF agent to medical. All these things are taken care by supply chain system. Then, of course, continuous supply for business continuity point of view, we need a continuous supply of raw material as well as continuous supply of finished goods to market. This is also a task taken care by supply chain management, along with forecasting of all the parameters, and where most of the technical persons are involved. Why technical person? Because these systems need a certain level of experience in pharma industry. How to manufacture drugs, what are the impacts of drug transportation, temperature, and all these things. So anyone from other industry also work, but they need total thorough knowledge of pharmaceutical industry. That's why most of the companies prefer only pharmaceutical guys who can already have knowledge of technical thing. And these are the points taken into the consideration in supply chain. Now, main department where we have very high weightage in pharmaceutical industry is production and warehouse. Frankly speaking, then when I was in academic at that time, I heard that production is a last department. I put this department in least category, but this is absolutely wrong, because if you wanted to successful in pharmaceutical field, then you must have knowledge of production. If you work in production, then you can work in any department. But production, if you not work in production, it means directly if you are boss, then it's very difficult to manage all your team. So you have to start with initial level to boss. Then only we will be successful in our life. Like that, production is a hardcore. We will take little bit. This is the graphical presentation. What are the production activities? Particularly, two types of production activities: OSD plant, wet granulation, dry granulation. You must aware from Lachman and all these things. We do dispensing, dry mixing, then dry granulation, wet granulation, various drying processes available, booster process available, coating process available, pressing, then encapsulation, various packaging. These types of departments in already there. We will go in little bit about these activities in production, particularly solid oral plant. We divide mainly in two departments. One is manufacturing and one is packing. And to support this, we have warehouse. What are the main departments in production? One is manufacturing. In manufacturing, there are raw material dispensing department, which is very critical, because if you do any mistake at this level, this is the primary stage, you cannot correct anything after this. So this is the very critical department where we have to be much conscious, because what happened? There are only powders forms of material available from all raw materials. we cannot distinguish by visually without any prior knowledge what is wrong and what is right. So when we perform this activity, at that time we should be more vigilant. After dispensing is the dispensing of required quantity of all the material, excipient as well as API for a certain batch, particular batch. Then after dispensing, there is a granulation. You must know all these things. Granulation, you are aware. Total process of wet granulation, dry granulation. Here we have involved raw RMG, rapid mixer granulator, fluidized bed dryer, then various multi-milling operations, collided mill, paste preparation operations, then sifting operations. These are done under granulation. This is a big area in granulation also. We have this wet granulation area section. We have blending section. We have lubrication and blending is a common part. We have WIP, it means works in progress section. This is handled by one another group. After granulation, we have compression department where actual tableting is performed with the help of granulation. Once we get this granules ready, we start compression with various technologies. You know this dosage form of tablets. In tablets, we have various types of tablets. Tablets in tablet, multi-layer tablet, double layer tablet, then single layer tablet, film coating tablet, sugar coating tablet. These are all the types of tablets, and based on their dosage form, we select compression machine. There are many compression machines. Here, if we get thorough knowledge of compression, then we have to start with tooling, various tablet toolings, punches, dies, and all these things. These are involved in compression section. After completion of the compression, we go for, if there is coating requirement, then film coating and sugar coating section is there. And nowadays there are almost all auto coaters available for film coating, and still we are using old system for sugar coating. Then if we have capsule dosage form, then after granulation we go for encapsulation. Encapsulation is a capsule filling operation. After completion of capsulation, we must have one very important department, that is inspection. We call it visual inspection. Each and every tablet or capsule is a go through visual inspection machines or by conventional visual inspection by naked eyes. These are the departments from manufacturing. Then we go for packaging. For packaging, there are mainly two basic departments. One is primary packing and one is secondary packing. And to support these departments, we have primary packing dispensing department. In some company they are under warehouse, or in some company they are under packaging manufacturing production department. In primary packing, what happen? Directly tablets come in contact with person, machine, change parts, foils. These are the primary packaging. And secondary, once we do this stripping, in market we see strips, blisters. Once we do this stripping or blistering, these strips through conveyor belt go in secondary department, and where we do cartoning operation. We fill these strips in a carton with a specific set as per our specification. These activities are done in secondary packing as well as tertiary packing. At secondary packing, tertiary packing is a at wholesale store. You must see these cartons, big shippers. These are the tertiary packing material. First, we do stripping and blistering. It means direct tablet comes in contact with that foil. Then we fill these strips in a carton. This is a secondary packing material, and we fill these total cartons, secondary packed cartons, in a shipper. This is a tertiary packing activity. Now, main supporting department of our production is a warehouse. In warehouse, mostly pharmaceutical field person or accounting persons or any bachelor, they can work, because in warehouse there are three main sections. One is the raw material section, where all the raw materials coming from market, they are stored there at a specific condition, where we do the sampling of this material, and we issue this to manufacturing area after successful completion of all the testing and approval of this material from quality control lab. Then we have packaging material store, which is also a different part. Whatever be the packaging material required for our dosage form, we store in a packaging material store. And third is BSR. BSR is called bonded storage room. Once we pack these material from tertiary packing area, it means shippers, directly shippers of particular batch. This go into the BSR, a bonded storeroom, where they kept in under quarantine. Take these samples from packed cartons. It goes into quality control lab. They taste this material. Once approve this batch, then it goes to approved storeroom, and from there we are ready to dispatch this batch to our CNA patient or to market. These are the main departments in production as well as warehouse. Now we go to quality control, quality assurance, and regulatory assurance department. In quality control, mainly there are two types of labs. One is wet chemistry and second is instrumentation. Wet chemistry is nothing but labs which we have in our college, where we do titrations, we do many preparation of many solutions, weighing activities, pH, checking of pH, storage of these chemicals, solvents, and all these things, plus doing particularly titration analysis, normalization method, and all these method, all these things which you do regularly in our college. Okay, upon these two main departments, we have some segregation that raw material QC lab, packaging material QC lab, and FG. FG is a finished goods lab. These are the three segments, main segments. And in some companies, we have separate stability lab where we do analysis of samples kept in a stability. Plus, least but most important lab is micro lab. Once we complete all this chemical testing, we must do micro testing to all the finished goods as well as some raw materials to ascertain that they are free from microorganisms. These are the quality control labs where I led this instrumentation. In instrumentation, particularly, as by name only, you can identify that there are most of the instruments are available, particularly HPLCs, UPLCs, UV. They are this separate section than weight, because we have to take a little bit more care with these instruments. That's why we have prepared this a separate section. Okay, now quality assurance. Quality assurance is also vast area. Quality assurance person can work in any of the department. He has responsibility to deliver a perfect good outside the factory. It means he has all the responsibility to release the goods, to check to go and check any department with they are adhered with their guidelines, they are adhered with their quality policies, with their SOPs, and not. He has to confirm all these things. In a quality assurance, there are mainly two main departments. One is corporate QA and second is site QA. Corporate QA, it means suppose one of the X company have their office in Mumbai, head office in Mumbai, and they have their one plant in Goa, second plant in Daman, third plant in any part of the Maharashtra or any Uttarakhand and all, but the area. So they set up their one corporate unit, quality assurance unit at their head office in Mumbai, and he look after all these sites operations. They develop policies, SOPs, specifications for unique for all the common for all the other factories. So they are under corporate QA. Then second is site QA. Site QA is just specific to that site. He look after all the operations to that site. It means if I have my one plant in Goa, then I will look after all the operations. I am responsible for all the operations of that particular site. Then main thing is QMS. One is department. There is a quality management system. Under quality management system, there are a lot of other activities, but we prepared some segregation. Who is looking after what? Based on that, these departments segregate a quality management system where we have many tools. With the use of that tools, they assure the regular operations, their quality, and all these things. Then next is IPQA. IPQA is the in-process quality assurance department. It means they look after all the in-process activities at production level, where they have access to all the department from raw material store, dispensing, granulation, compression, coating, encapsulation, packing, and all these things. Each and every process which are running in this production plant, IPQA person has to certify this process, which is going under. He has to ensure that this system is under control and according to our specified specifications. So we need very important. We can say in our general terminology, they are the supervisors to counter check production activities continuously. Then we have one more department, that is analytical QA. It means as like IPQA, IPQA is looking after production activities. Analytical QA counter checks activities at quality control lab. This means these person, analytical QA, dedicated for quality control activities. Whatever be the activities going on at quality control, he has to assure according to our specifications. Then last one, but most important department is the validation QA. When we get, as I said earlier, we have to do each and everything to, it should be validated. It means, is there any method, any process, any equipment qualification, all come under validation QA. He has to assure, he has to be present there at all the initial activity during validation. He has to prepare protocol. He has to prepare report and ascertain that all these methods, processes are validated. And this is also a continuous process with commercial plants. Then we come to regulatory affairs. In regulatory affairs, particularly, there are two main things. One is domestic regulatory, and second is regulated market regulatory. For domestic, in the means, if I'm located here in India, then I have to take care about all the requirements, guidelines of Indian government, as per Indian government suggestion, and these called domestic. Then there is a regulated market. It means you must aware that US FDA, TGA, US FDA is for US, TGA for Australia, Japan, then Europe guidelines. These are the regulatory market, and there are few countries where we can say semi-regulated, where we have to follow some part of regulated and some are local WHO guidelines. We say that these are the semi-regulated countries, and this is the three: domestic, semi-regulated, and regulated. These are the requirements of regulatory affairs. And one more major department here, in particularly MNC WRA, is a worldwide regulatory affair. If I give one example of my company, then my head office is at Paris, and almost in 29 countries we are present. So each and every regulatory head of that respective country has to report to WRA. It means worldwide regulator. This is like a corporate QA. Corporate QA sees at the head office as like for MNC, WRA is a department who is taking care of all the countries' requirement, all the countries' responsibility, and we have to follow as a specific country leader, I have to follow WRA. So in a regulatory affairs, WRA has a high weightage. They can decide the policies, SOPs, and we have to follow them. And we have to report each and every system or country specific activity to WRA and take their approval. So QC/QARA works like that. Next, if we say quality control and quality assurance is a huge department, then how it quality management system follows and all. There are certain tools. One is the QBD tool, quality by design. This is not department. This is one tool for your information purpose only. I have placed this slide. Product quality control, how they control the quality, what are the strategies, and how quality assurance work with this strategy. It is defined here. Here you can see feed forward. Once we start AD process with respect to production, with respect to specification, with respect to preparation of documents, based on these tools, we can control this quality. Where we need, for example, qualified API and excipient specs, we have to follow them. We need a flexible process parameters. We need a process control system. We have to follow in-process measurements via IPQA. We have to follow this product acceptance based on process compliance. And finally, if we follow all these tools, then our product output should be perfect. So we have to design a system initially to get a proper result. And here QBD is a huge topic, but this is a, for example, to give one example of quality tool, I have placed this side. We'll go in detail maybe later. And in IPQC, what they do? They do inspection as well as testing. At a production site, there are we can take example of compression. When there is one batch running for compression, it's been tableting. Then we have a certain set of tests in process test, and you must aware this specification. Tablet weight of the tablet, weight variation test, individual weight of the tablet, then thickness, hardness, friability, disintegration. All these tests is prime responsibility of production person to follow these tests, and again to reassure the thing, IPQA person or IPQC person do their counter check. So IPQC is concerned with providing accurate, specific, definite description of the procedure to be from the receipt of the raw material to release up to the finished process form. I mean, from initial stage to last stage, he has to certify that this system, this material, this product is accurate, specific, and definite as per our requirement. This is the role of IPQC. And once we get approval from IPQA, we go for next stage of each and every setup. The last but important department is sales, marketing, and training. As I said earlier, in every company, most of the go with percentage, then most of the staff is from sales and marketing, because now with this big competition, there are many pharmaceutical companies working from worldwide. We can sell goods from any country to any country. Means I manufacture my goods in India and I can sell in Africa, I can sell in Europe, I can sell in US, as like that. In India also, some companies manufacture their goods in China and sell in India. So there is cutthroat competition in everything. For this reason, we have to maintain our sales and marketing team mainly, because we have to do our own marketing, then only we can get success. So in these departments also, in sales there are micro departments. It means who is leading at front. You can say mainly in market there are marketing guys, MRs, it's a marketing representative. But before marketing representative, there are many guys working in their departments, particularly promo department. When we came with a new drug, we need a promotion team. It means it's a launch. Like in a film industry, on every Friday, if you wanted to launch one film, then before that, I think they take almost 1 month to get a promotion. As like this scenario in our pharmaceutical also, initially we do a huge promotion with doctors. In our promotion department, we have pharmacist as well as doctors team. Then we have training department, because when we develop these products, many doctors don't know how it works, mechanism of action, and this product is our product. We have developed as per our specification. So we have to train first our marketing team, our sales team about that product, and then this team train to doctor that what should be the dose, how it act, their mechanism of action, their adverse reactions, and all these things, safety guidelines. We have to train to doctor with very thorough knowledge. That's why in our team we have pharmacists as well as doctors. Then before this marketing, there is promotion team, there is training team, and before that we have distribution team. We have manufactured a drug, but we don't have distribution team. Then how we can reach to the medical store and all? So main role is distribution team in all these activities. Once we manufacture all these products, we transfer this product to our godowns, centralized godowns. Normally, I have my centralized godown as Mumbai, and my multiple units at many states. Then initially, once we get approval from site specific QA for a specific batch, then I transfer this batch to my centralized godown. From centralized godown, there are CNF agents are there at multiple locations at district level. So distribution team distribute all the goods not only by vehicle and all this mechanical mode, but we have a lot of systems and softwares for that, because it's not like grocery. It's a two-way process. Is there anything happen at any medical store or any patient, any adverse reaction, then quickly within a specific time, there is always based on criticality, there is always a specific time given to collect all this material. We call this a recall. Many times you heard in the market that X company has recalled their goods, particularly not only in a medical field, but for any vehicles also you can heard. But they have their own time limit. So based on our software, we know if I have produced my 1 lakh strips, I have distributed strips 1 lakh whole India, then I have to keep full track that which strip, how many strips are available in which medical store. Because if I get due to any unfortunate reason, if I have to take a decision to recall the material, then within 12 hours, I have to take all these goods in my centralized warehouse, and I have to report these things to regulatory authorities, food inspectors, food and drug inspectors, and there are many more things. So distribution team is playing very important role with the help of software, and to maintain this software, as I said earlier, we need IT support very strongly. Then marketing, you know very well, marketing is a very huge field. Almost all the diploma holders, degree holders, MBA holders, all are working with marketing team. And sorry, who have passion to work with the market team. They are very successful, and they are living very proudly in our society. They are successful in their business or their services. Particularly, I'll take this to training now. Because in training, there are many types of trainers we need. We need a pharmacist to train all these formulation related things to all my internal department, as well as for to doctors, to health professional, as well as doctors who teach us many things based on with respect to pathology, human anatomy and pathology, and clinical trial department. So these are the main departments in pharmaceutical industry. And last but not least, I have not mentioned two more departments. This one is the pharmacovigilance and second is the clinical trials. But most of the companies, they don't maintain all these departments. They get work from other contract basis labs who work as a clinical trial. They are working third party. So hopefully I have covered all these things. And finally, thank you very much. And least and last thing is stay home, stay safe, because in this situation we don't have any other option than staying at home. This is the best thing. So thank you very much once again. And now we can take question and answer. For that, you give me a 2 seconds to exit the slides.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Students who
Thank you.
are students who are okay, want to ask a question, just raise your hand so that I can unmute you and you can ask a question to sir. You can go to chat also. You can just ask a question through chat, not an issue. The students who will be raising hand, just we can go with question answering.
It's very difficult to give a session, a one-way session.
Right.
But unfortunately, we don't have any option.
No, but you have taken a very nice tour to this, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much.
It's very nice.
But
So,
really, frankly speak to you, then I am a technical person. I am not good speaker at all.
No, sir. But you have got a lot of things actually, which to be known after before getting in industry. Like you have covered a lot of things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, purposefully I choose these slides because when I was in final year, at that time, really I don't know which profession and which department I have to choose.
Right.
Just I share my first experience that when I was for interview at Sandoz Pharmaceutical first time in Mumbai. HR asked me this interview session I arranged from whole India. Okay. And our students are almost from my college, almost 40 students reported there. And they asked me for which department you wanted to give interview. Sure. Okay. Really, at that time, I heard from my teachers that there is only QA department, QC department, and production is not good at all. But really, once I shared these things with HR, then HR asked me a simple question: why you wanted to go in QC department particularly if you have completed your B.Pharm? Okay. Or QA department? Because what happened in quality control department, there are mostly chemistry type of total full work, and there in a market we have to compete with MSc people, marketing. MSc in organic or MSc in analytical. They are the full-fledged knowledge, because at the end in pharmaceutical field we have a topical knowledge of chemistry and not a developmental point of view. So if you wanted to work with ADL line in chemistry, then we have to be thorough with chemistry. So there are many departments where we can start our career and explore later on. Once we get a proper experience of 2 to 3 years, then we can switch to any department. So that's why it's a good thing to have knowledge of all the departments at least.
Right.
So at the end, we have choice whether we have to go for any individual specific department.
Right. So any students interested to ask question, please you can. So I think many more finalist students are also here over here. So you can just have any query before joining any industry and all that. You can frankly speak with sir, or you can just raise your hand so that I can unmute you. Rehan. Yes, Rehan, you can ask question.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, you can ask question to sir. Yeah, Rehan.
Yeah, please.
Hello, sir. I am Rehan Chaus from first year B Pharmacy, and I
Okay.
wanted to know that how are you looking forward towards the future of Indian pharmaceutical industries after the COVID pandemic? Is it will get
Good.
affected by the COVID pandemic or not, sir?
Okay. It's a very good question, first of all. Definitely, it will affect, but this positively, because we have very great opportunity after this COVID to start a new formulation, to came with a new formulation as well as new drug in a market. We have very big opportunity for allopathy as well as Ayurveda to launch our products. Basically, after this pandemic, nobody wanted to go for any drugs to China. So we have to take this benefit. And other than pharma, I think we don't have any other industry who have this opportunity to grow, and we don't have any impact. Reversely, I can say that this is the great opportunity for us
Thank you, sir.
to serve people as well as to grow our business. This
Okay.
is the only you can notice that this is the only industry working from day zero of COVID-19. We don't have
Yes, sir.
a single day. We don't have a single day lockdown for our industry. We are continuously working. So
Yes,
it's a
sir.
big thing.
After that also. Hello, sir.
Yes. After COVID also we have, as I said earlier, in pharmaceutical we never had any recession type of things.
Sir,
Day by
then
day,
pharmaceutical
day,
industries.
sorry. Hmm.
Hello, sir. Then pharmaceutical industries are not mentioned as the front runner of the COVID-19, sir. Why this is
Who
so?
told you? Who told you? Not like that.
Uh,
Every day, if you heard political news, then our prime
yes, sir.
minister is our prime minister is what do we say? In every their speech, they mentioning that we are ready to help to US by giving what this hydroxychloroquine. Who is
Yes,
manufacturing
sir.
the hydroxychloroquine? This is not from prime minister office. We are working, and
Yes, sir.
many of
Yes,
the
sir.
pharmaceutical companies, these are the private companies, they are the working. We are
Yes,
helping
sir.
to our neighboring countries as well as developed countries. And
Yes, sir.
the big thing is that in whole world we are on second rank to provide all these pharmaceutical needs to world.
Okay, sir.
Particularly this is for formulation. As
Yes,
far
sir.
as bulk API and excipient point of view, China is the leader, but formulation point of view, we are the leader. So we have great opportunity. And one thing is
Okay,
that we have initially you thought that you have not got admission to MBBS, you have not got admission to engineering. That's why you have chosen this department. But it's not like that. We are far better than other departments.
yes, sir.
We don't have any type of issue, recession things, and always will increase our opportunity.
That's what
Okay,
we
sir.
need, sir. Actually, it's a
Thank you, sir.
very nice discussion you have made. Yeah.
Particularly, everyone in the world, everyone has opened their eyes and waiting for new drug. Who is manufacturing these drugs? who is doing research. These are the pharmaceutical companies.
Yes, sir.
These are not new research group. They are the pharmacists.
Yes, sir.
So pharmacy have very high importance. Unfortunately, in ancient era in India, we called it that pharmacy. If we do pharmacy, then we have to run one medical store. But that is not
Yeah.
the fact. We are
Yes,
the
sir.
leader in the world.
Yes, sir. But we are still neglected by the nation, sir.
Not like that. This is
Many of the people are
maybe
still taking us as complimentary to the doctor, sir. Only.
This is the some we can't say anything about this. This is the political agendas and all things.
Yes,
But
sir.
if we consider GDP of India, then we are contributing 25% of GDP
Yes, sir. We are.
due to pharmaceutical industry. Based on that, you can understand what is the importance of pharmaceutical.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, any other students want to ask question? They can please raise your hand. Yeah, I think so. No one. Thank you, Rehan, for your question. Now, may I
Thank you,
ask Momin ma'am to give a vote of thanks of today's webinar function, please, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Can you listen me, sir?
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes. I take opportunity to express my vote of thanks on behalf of Annasaheb Dange College of B Pharmacy, Ashta. I would like to thank our today's resource person, Mr. Sambhaji Jadhav, sir, for his guidance regarding the basics of pharmaceutical industry, various departments present in the pharmaceutical industry, various functioning of these departments like QA, QC, RA, then IPQC, then sales, marketing, training, etc. This will definitely helpful to our final year students who are going to enter into the pharmaceutical industry. I would like to express my gratitude to our management secretary of SDSS, Mr. R. Dange sir, our executive director, Professor R. Kanai sir, for their support and motivation. I'm very much thankful to our principal, Dr. R.B. Jadhav sir, for his painstaking efforts and to make this webinar successful. I'm happy to thank our Vice Principal Administration and co-convener of webinar series, Mr. Sachin Sajne sir, and Vice Principal Academics, Chief Coordinator of this webinar series, Mr. R.S. Jagtap sir, for time-to-time guidance and the reports. Special thanks to Staff Coordinator, Mr. Sudhar sir, for their supports and from demo to live. My heartfelt thanks to my students for active participation in this webinar, and in short period of time they learn this virtual means like Zoom app. And last but not the least, my heartfelt thanks to their parents too for keeping faith in us. Thank you one and all who are directly and indirectly contributed to this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you once again, sir. So I'd like to share you the certificate which will be given. That e-certificate will be given to you, sir. So this is what. So please accept this certificate, sir. So this is what, sir. Certificate from our college.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, all the staffs and management, for giving me the opportunity to be available with all the students. And thank you, students, for your patience.
Thank you very much, sir. Yeah. Good day,
Thank
sir.
you very much, sir.
Yeah. Good day, sir.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. So
Bye.
we will,
Bye. Bye.
yeah, we will conclude meeting over here. Thank you very much, students, for your patience, and thank you, ma'am, and many other staff who have joined in
Thank you.
between. Thank you very much. Again, I will thank to all the management team, principal sir, to giving such an opportunity to our students and for us too also. Thank you very much, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, we'll end up the meeting, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure.